Before we start building, let's first understand what Supabase actually is and why it's such a powerful tool for developers. Also, we'll walk through on setting up our first Supabase project, creating a table, and even explore Supabase's powerful auto-generated API. Let's get started. So what exactly is Supabase? At high level, it's an open source Firebase alternative built on top of PostgreSQL. If you have used Firebase before, you will notice some similarities such as real-time data, authentication, storage, and it's all here. The big difference is Supabase gives you a relational database under the hood, complete SQL support, and open source tools you can host yourself if needed. Think of it like Firebase for developers who love SQL and want more control over their backend. You can also think of it as your backend as a service where the infrastructure, the database, and the user management are all already taken care of. So here are what it offers, such as the first one would be authentication. Supabase comes with a built-in authentication system. You can set up email, password login, magic links, OAuth providers like Google with just a few lines of code. No need to manually build login flows or session management. Supabase handles all of that. Now next, Supabase also provides a database. So when you create a project, Supabase gives you a hosted PostgreSQL database, one of the most powerful and reliable relational databases in the world. It also includes a table editor, a visual UI that lets you manage your tables, columns, and rows without writing SQL, though you can if you want to. And next step is APIs. As soon as you create a table in database, Supabase automatically gives you a RESTful API and a GraphQL API instantly. You can fetch data, insert records, update and delete, all securely and in real time, directly from your front end. The next is storage. If you need to upload files or images, Supabase also includes secure object storage, perfect for profile pictures, documents, or anything else your user uploads. And next is security. With row-level security built in, Supabase lets you control who can read or write to each row in your database. It ensures that users only see or modify their own data without you needing to manually check user IDs everywhere. So, why use Supabase? Supabase makes it easy to build secure, scalable applications, especially if you're coming from the front-end world. It removes a lot of complexity of building and managing your own backend, so you can focus on your own apps features, not the infrastructure. So, in this course, we'll use Supabase to handle the authentication, store and fetch data, secure user content, and deploy a real full-stack app without writing a single line of backend server code. Next, we'll set up our Supabase project from scratch and start building. Let's go. Let's head over to supabase.com and log in. So once you have signed in, just choose the free plan for now for the organization, which should work. And click on Create Organization. In the next step, we also need to choose the region that we are closest to. In this case, I like to choose Singapore, Southeast Asia. And of course, a strong password for the database as well. And click on Create New Project. Supabase will now spin up a new PostgreSQL database in the cloud for you. This is your Supabase dashboard. You'll see tabs like Table Editor, Auth, Storage, Edge Functions, and SQL Editor. This is your command center for everything Supabase. You can manage your database, set up authentication, store files, and even deploy custom functions all in one place. Now let's create our first table, a simple notes table. Go to table editor, click on create new table. The name should be notes, and let's add the following columns. And yeah, as you can see, ID is already been added. The type here is UUID. Next step is I would need to add title, the title for the notes. So this particular title will have the type to be text. Okay, next, let's add content of that particular notes. And of course, it will be the same type, which is gonna be text. Next step is created at. As you can see, created at is already there, so we don't need to add anything. Now let's click save. Supabase just created the table, generated the SQL behind the scenes, and made it available through a REST and GraphQL API instantly. So here's the magic. Supabase automatically generates a RESTful API for your tables. Head over to the API tab. You'll see the full docs here. Every endpoint, method, and request body is ready for you. You can just copy the code for get, post, patch, and delete. It supports filtering, pagination, relationships, and all documented here. Also, take note on the anon and service role keys. These are used for client-side and server-side authentication. Now, one of the most important parts would be row level security, or RLS. By default, Supabase locks down your tables when RLS is enabled. So no data can be read or written unless you explicitly allow it. So let's go back to our notes table, enable RLS, and then add a policy. For example, we can create a policy that allows a user to insert a note only if they are authenticated. You can write this using SQL or use the GUI. RLS gives you fine-grained control, similar to Firebase rules, but using SQL instead of JSON-like config. And there you go. That's your intro to Supabase. We have covered what Supabase is, how to set up a project, created our first table, and explored Supabase's auto-generated API and security features. So in the next part, we'll connect this particular backend to our front end using Supabase client library and start building out the real functionality. If you found this helpful, please give it a like and subscribe for more dev content. See you in the next one.